How's it going, guys? What you're going to see today is some Operation Firestorm Obliteration gameplay the footage you're going to see is me going nuts in a tank. I think I finished like 57-9, something like that. Not all the kills were from the tank. There were some LAV kills, there were some infantry kills, but they were sort of scattered in between some of the deaths. And to shorten what was basically a half an hour, 32-minute video or something like that to basically around 10 minutes, I had to cut some of those out. They weren't that great anyway, so don't feel like you're missing out on something or missing out on strategies you can learn something from, because for the most part I wouldn't say nothing good came of it. From the tank you'll be able to see some good highlights, maybe gun something out of it in terms of positioning, gameplays, maybe a loadout. But the only real loadout change that I made compared to my normal tank loaded is that I put the AP shell on instead of the sabot round, so that's the only real difference. Still have active protection, still have the heavy machine gun as the secondary, still have what's called reactive armor as the third tier. So basically that'll be the tank gameplay, that'll be the loadout, that'll be the strategy. Like I did before, what I wanted to do, because the latest, as I'm basically doing this commentary right now for, this gameplay, the new patch for PC just came out as well with Naval Assault, so I'm going to be playing Naval Assault pretty much right as I wrap up this commentary. But the new patch came out, and what I'm going to try and do as usual, like I did for the previous video, is I'm going to update at least the patch notes for PC and explain what I do and don't like about them, if there is anything I don't like about them. But that's what I'll do. I'll try and outline it for future videos. As a disclaimer, for the Xbox 360 and for the next gen consoles that came out, there will be different aspects to it that are different for PC, but the overall balance changes unless there was a glaring difference. One will basically be the same, and other than minor little idiosyncrasies that are patched between the events, there isn't a ton of differences, at least when I looked at the patch notes between. So I'm going to list them for PC, but if one specific one isn't in there for the consoles, that's fine. Understand that I'm listing it for PC, and there might be some minor differences between them. So let's get it started. The first thing first is the general fixes, and I mean there's not going to be any cons for real general fixes, so I'll just list them right off the bat. As usual, it's general stability improvements. They fixed a crash that could occur when customizing vehicles. I didn't even know that was a problem. They fixed an issue in the rush game mode where the end of screen would always indicate that there was 60 minutes left in the game. Again, not a big issue. They fixed an issue where splash damage for IFV shells, helicopter rockets, and mortar rounds were unable to destroy deployed equipment. I ran into this a lot, that I found that was a big issue for me. It was a pain in the ass, considering that sometimes if you're shooting at these equipments to try and better the team and destroy it, you get snuck up and C4'd on, and it was just an aggravation. It should never happen. They fixed an issue where it would cause the quad bike to explode when it hit indestructible objects. That's a good fix, because to me, I basically stood away from quad bikes all time. I didn't use them at all because I figured it was basically a death trap. I'm better off walking, or I'm better off waiting for another spawn point or some other vehicle to come up, because the odds are that going to the quad bike was basically suicide. So I'm glad that's pretty much fixed. I said it fixed another one is they fixed an issue where ECM would sometimes fail to jam incoming missiles. I'll have to see how this plays out because I haven't actually played it out, but I will admit that's a main reason why you haven't seen a lot of helicopter gameplays from me lately, because there's just so many ways to kill things out of the air, and in addition to that, with ECM not working, helicopters are a death trap. I'm not going to waste my time using them, but ideally, if it's fixed, then you'll see more helicopter gameplays. Again, they shortened the takeoff distances for jet to match the length of the runways in the second assault maps. That was a big oversight. So ideally for the jet users, that's fixed. Apparently, they put in a fix for going above the ceiling exploits in Operation Metro, which was rampant when I would play in the Conquest servers. So ideally, that's fixed. They fixed an MAV riding exploit. They fixed the kill camera jittering and strobing sometimes if they were colliding between objects. Sometimes there would be a camera jitter or strobing. I would see it quite a bit. You'll probably see some in the gameplays. Not a big problem for me, but hey, it's a fix, right? And the next one is they fixed soldiers getting catapulted when walking on steep surfaces, which, I mean, good for the game, but humor goes out the window. Next section is the netcode fixes. Apparently they fixed an issue where the kill cam would display the incorrect killer, which, I mean, I'd say probably 67 of my kill cams were inaccurate, so glad that's fixed. They fixed an issue where the kill card wouldn't show up when playing on servers which have the kill camera turned off. That wasn't a relevant issue to me, I guess. Another big one. They fixed an issue where soldiers would appear to fire in the wrong direction when turning quickly. I still feel when compared to Battlefield 3, when you got shot in Battlefield 3, it's almost as if, and I put this in quotation marks, you felt it. Like, you felt the bullets hit you, you could make an adjustment, you could turn. In Battlefield 4, you don't have that. It's like, you don't feel the bullets coming at all, and it's almost an instantaneous death when you get hit. I still wish they'd fix that, but I guess fixing where the damage indicators are coming from is a nice start. You fixed an issue where explosions didn't do any damage to infantry and vehicles that were outside of the combat area. I found that out by accident a couple weeks ago, shooting at a guy out of bounds, and I was doing absolutely nothing to him. And then there's another one again. It didn't really bug me, but it fixed an issue that could cause packet loss. Now, because that indicator was almost always on for me, I couldn't tell if it was my internet or the game. I'm assuming with that fix, we'll get a better indication of it, at least for me. The next one is progression. They added gold battle packs as reward for class service stars, meaning players that have reached the max rank can continue to earn battle packs, which I guess is interesting. That'd be nice, because I'm only at 112, but eventually I'll reach the peak. The next up, I'll be talking about overall tweaks. They increased the damage of the normal buckshot with shotguns against body armor, which is nice. They increased the they reduced the vertical recoil of the M4 MM16A4 to give these burst fire weapons tighter burst accuracy in medium to long range, which is nice. I mean, you wouldn't want a strictly vertical, or you wouldn't want a strictly medium to longer range gun having excess recoil, otherwise there's no logical reason to use them. They reduced the side-to-side and first shot recoil of the G36C. I don't use it anyway, but with the amount of people I've seen frequently complaining about this, I guess that was a welcome change to them. The next one is they tweaked the detonation time of the M40 LVG so that it bounces less before going off, but to counter this, they reduced the maximum damage to 80 instead. We'll see how that plays out. And these next ones I really liked. They reduced the amount of 40mm rounds that you could carry from 4 to 3, and they increased the amount of time it takes to get these new 40mm rounds from ammo boxes, which is again really nice because that way it's going to prevent all these explosive spams, especially in the cluster maps like Metro and Lockers. For the grenade tweaks, it increased the time it also takes to get the impact, the minis, the flashbangs, and smoke from the ammo boxes because, I mean, again, grenade spam. The next one is the vehicle tweaks. They significantly improved the suppression from mounted vehicle weapons, including miniguns, HMDs, LMG, and other shell types from armored vehicles, which is nice because, I mean, there was next to nothing before this. Aircraft tweaks. This is the biggest one, and that'll be basically it, other than mantle changes and DirectX fixes, which I guess are relevant to your computer. But the aircraft tweaks, they further reduced the repair rate for the Scout and Transport choppers. We'll see how that one plays out again. Significantly increased the amount of damage for the Transport helicopter miniguns. Again, nice change for me. They changed the flight ceilings of Gulf of Oman, Caspian Border, and Operation Firestorm to better match the height of the structures in those levels. Again, that's a welcome change for jet users, I suppose. They adjusted the damage of the 25 and 30mm cannons for both stealth jets and the mobile AA to be equal to the damage per second to the 20mm default weapons. And that's because they said these weapons were clearly poor choices in all circumstances, so it's a balance issue there. And the next was basically the AC-130s. They increased the splash damage and range at which the JDAM bombs can achieve maximum splash damage. The JDAM's power was not properly balanced with its difficulty to use, so that's a fix. And the next part, they increased they increased the accuracy and direct hit damage of the AC-130's 40mm cannons. They were previously, apparently now they can be used to fire pinpoint shots in 2 to 3 round bursts, enabling them to provide fire on infantry and vehicle targets. And they increased the splash damage and range of the AC-130 25mm cannons. They do approximately 50 more damage now, and they have a slightly increased impact of area of impact. The damage as well as the increased suppression effects will allow the 25mm cannons to fill its role as an area of effect weapon against infantry. So that's basically all that's there in terms of balance changes. They've tried to amp up the AC-130. The problem being that a lot of the time, since it's on rails, and if you happen to deploy out of it, you'll be out of bounds no matter where you land. And in addition to that, since it still doesn't have the guns to be able to get rid of helicopters or jets on its tail, two to three strafes with a chopper or the jet still take it out. So on average, I'd still consider the AC-130, even with these buffs, to be, well, pretty much entirely useless on most servers. So I can't speak to say I've used it an awful lot, but on the times that I did use it, I can't say there would be good reason to use it overall anyway. So not a big different change there, but I assume I'll see some feedback if it actually is a definitive change from being completely useless to less useless. But those are basically the main tweaks that those were basically the changes with this patch. I thoroughly enjoyed the grenade tweaks. Less explosive spam will really help this game, in my opinion. The quote-unquote netcode or hit detection issues, we'll see how they play out as well. But at the very least, these balance changes and reducing the grenade spam can, I think, really help this game out a lot. But of course, we'll see how it plays out. Hope you enjoyed the patch review. Hope you enjoyed this tank footage in the background. It was a hell of a match here, crushing just about everything that moves. So anyway, yeah, that's it. See you guys later.